No, it's great. Peas, please. Wouldn't you like to know? No, stop, wait. Fresh. And your guests are gonna be excited. How to cut butternut squash and survive. Squash, you know, it rolls around, it's not friendly to catch, and I first sometimes just cut a little piece off so it sits flat. And that already makes it more stable to grab onto. I take a really big knife for this. Sometimes I use a cleaver. Depends on what kind of day I've had. Right down the middle, I make a cut and kind of decide. Notice my hands are above my knife. There's no way they're not under. You know what I get, what I'm saying? And then I tap. So you see my two hands are above the blade. There's no way I can cut them. I'm not really sawing or cutting. I've got a blade of a knife and I'm just tapping it into the squash. Do you see that? Come around to the other side, knife back in, right down the middle. Beautiful. Now, what's attached to the seeds in the middle is actually really ripe and delicious. I don't care about fully cleaning all those little feathery bits out. What I care about is when I roast this, I want to get all the seeds out. Wash the seeds, put them on a tray, let them dry, like overnight, toss them in a little olive oil, and bake them. They have good protein, they're deliciously nutty, great substitute for people that don't eat nuts. Deliciously nutty, and you can puree them to thicken sauces. You can put them in a salad dressing. Just a great nut substitute. So you see, I'm leaving all that nice, good flesh in there. I don't care about that. All we want to do is get the seeds out. I feel like so many people are obsessed with cleaning out all those fibery bits, but they're delicious. Leave it in there. You paid for it, eat it. All right, we're cleaning out the other side. Same thing, same concept. And I'm scraping with this spoon. I like to use a soup spoon for this. Nice and saucery and round. And then we cut our squash in half. And then we have our beautiful seeds that we can clean and roast. So good, nothing gets wasted here. Here's a honey squash. The little guy, just as an example. You can also peel the squash, big or small. And then you can just cut it into wedges and roast it. But you know, you go to the supermarket and one cut up squash peeled into cubes is like $6, $7, $8. And this is like way cheaper. It's a little DIY, but it's worth it. Save you a lot of money. And it's delicious. And this is, like I said, these little honey nut or honey squash. So good. So these, I find the honey squash are like they're a little bit nuttier. Not always as sweet, but a little bit more nutty than the classic butternut. The butternut is so sweet, it's hard to beat. But I love these, and these are cute. This is a cute little appetizer. I cut that little top piece off. Such a cute little like appetizer, little snack. And then once it's peeled, again, same idea. Tap in there and cut. Seed the same way. And this is great, these little honey nut squash. If you feel like you're gonna roast a whole butternut and you're not gonna eat it, this is like table for one, table for four. These two squashes taste similar enough that it's really about portion. And I love scooping this out, roasting them till tender, putting a little stuffing in there, like you put a mix of herbs, a little salad, you could put some crispy bits of sausage in there, just sprinkle it with brown sugar and spices. Really good. Perfect Thanksgiving side dish either way. Let's get our potatoes out of the oven. Now our potatoes have been in here for over an hour. I don't like undercooked potatoes. Look at that. Little pinch, totally tender. Now, these mashed potatoes, no boiling water, no cut up, no peeling, nothing. Just bake them. Okay, so Thanksgiving side dish, mashed potatoes, but baked instead, right? Now, I just literally cook these until they're fully tender, and they are hot. Cut them open. This takes the moisture out of the potato, which is great. I'm just holding it with a towel because it's so hot. I cut them open, and then I scoop. Now this is a tammy, which is a sieve. I don't usually say buy equipment, but I cannot say enough about a tammy as a great way to strain stuff. You can also take the flesh out of these potatoes and then put them in a food mill the way you normally would, or even directly in a pot. See that flesh coming right out of there? Now, by the way, I will fry these up or just toss them in the oven with a little olive oil and cook them crispy and put them out in a bowl, because I love potato skins. And this way, when you bake your potatoes, instead of boiling them, your peelings don't go in the garbage. They go in your stomach, which we like. You can also stuff the mashed potatoes back into the skins and serve like a little twice bake. And this smells so good. when you do your potatoes like this. You can smell that earthy note from the potatoes. These are russets, Idaho russets, my favorite. I know a lot of you out there like a Yukon Gold. I am a russet gal when it comes to mashed potatoes. And again here, no pot of boiling water, no peeling and cutting up the potatoes, no big pot of water on the stove for Thanksgiving when you're dealing with 100 things. We just bake and empty. So comment below, do you like Idaho russets or Yukon Gold? Remember when you comment, these are russets. Now, you can take I take a spatula. You could use something like a bench scraper. Hold your tammy, your sieve, your food mill, whatever you're using, and just press it through. Now you're just pressing the flesh through. And this tammy goes right in the dishwasher. I just give it like a hose down and wash it in the dishwasher. Just pressing it, you're working the potato less. It's gonna be less worked, less gummy, and you know what that means? More delicious, because mashed potatoes are 50% taste and 52% texture, which brings them to a grand total of 102% amazing. And they're important. They're like the cornerstone of the Thanksgiving table, right? I mean, we like turkey and gravy and all that, but mashed potatoes is the sports car that gets us there, right? Now look what's cool here too. We even caught any extra little bits of skin that were still hanging around. Look at that, beautifully riced. Now again, you don't have a tammy, use a food mill. Or you can literally just take the flesh out and put it right in a pot. Now I did this on a baking sheet with parchment. Perfectly tammied, not overworked, didn't go to the gym too hard. We fold. No mess. I'm gonna put a little cream in the bottom of a pot. Just a little, not a lot. Don't put a lot of cream. Just put a little. Don't put too much. No, stop, wait. Stop, it's too much. Potato right in there. I got some cold butter. You don't wanna put too soft butter in here cold, because it's better that it cools as you mix it in. Generous pinch salt, just literally gonna run the potato. I count for Thanksgiving about 1 potato per person, right? So if I've got 6 people, 6 potatoes. 20 people, 22 potatoes. Look at that. Literally gonna take this to the stove, gently mix it just till the butter and the cream integrate, and we're done. If you want to impress your guests this Thanksgiving, make these mashed potatoes. They are fucking amazing, and your guests are gonna be excited. They're gonna tweak. And again, because we didn't boil our potatoes and put the peelings in the garbage, you could put the mashed potatoes back in here and do twice baked mashed potato boats by just warming them up in the oven. I like to cut these into strips, lay them out on a tray with a little olive oil, and roast them in the oven till they're crispy, and just put them out on the counter for like a bowl of snacking. This is like a vegetarian bacon. Baked potato skins, they're so tasty. They have tons of vitamins, by the way, but I don't like to waste them. They're really good. Comment below if you want to see me do more things with potato skins. Let's take it to the stove. All right, so check it out. We got that cream. We just warm it up gently. Look at that golden sun on those golden potatoes. Now you saw how much potato. This was 5 potatoes, so this would be mashed for like 5. And it's just coming together. Now sometimes I put too much cream and butter in my mashed potatoes. And sometimes I add just a splash of water just to kind of chill it out. And now you just heat it and whisk just a little bit so all that butter and cream goes in there, and we are done. Mic drop. Happy Thanksgiving. To me, frozen vegetables are nostalgic. My dad always made frozen peas, and I just love them. And this is a quick last-minute side dish. I love how the peas get stuck in the mashed potatoes with the gravy and the cranberry sauce. It's just nostalgia to me. So a bag of frozen peas, just warm a little bit of olive oil. You can also use butter if you like. Right out of the bag. You can just leave them in the fridge. Let them get a little defrosted. Pinch of salt. Remember, the peas are cooked already, right? Pinch of sugar for nostalgia. People say vegetables don't taste as sweet as they did when you were growing up. It's just a little sugar and a lot of pepper. And you can smell that. Can you imagine that? The sweet, starchy peas, that hot black pepper, that salt. You've got that water coming out of the peas. You're literally just warming them, making sure that they're obviously not frozen anymore. Let's taste them. First of all, frozen vegetables are so underrated, and they're cheap and they're delicious. You want this to be A little bit of like a sweet note, like when you had carrots and peas as a kid. You can also put honey, but honestly, to me, sugar is the best. Don't be shy with the pepper and the salt. These peas really begging for seasoning. You smell that pepper. When you make this last minute when everything's ready, and you get that smell of sugar and pepper and peas, to me, that's the last thing my dad did before we went to the table. Right out of here into a little dish. And that's the side dish. And this one happens to have a cover, which I love. People are like, ooh, what's in there? Wouldn't you like to know? Peas, please. Another great side, last minute, frozen corn. Right out of the bag. Now I just leave the bag in the fridge so the corn defrosts a little bit. These are cooked already. Another great side dish. Salt, little pepper. I love corn and black pepper together and a little cream. Don't question my vessel. A little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar. We're not making coffee, but we're making corn. Literally warm it. Let the water come out of the frozen corn. Let the starches come out of the corn. You'll see it get almost more luminous and yellow as it heats. Two of my favorite frozen vegetables, peas and corn. And this is kind of like a quickie cream corn. No, it's great. A little more pepper. You gotta wait a minute because the water comes out of the frozen vegetables. Putting a pinch of salt in there. Tiny bit more sugar. See how I'm tasting as I go? It's really important to taste your food just a little bit while you're cooking. And this is a stovetop side dish you can do while the turkey's resting and everything's ready, right? You got room on the stove because it's the turkey, everything else that was in the oven, but stovetop, you got room. We're just looking for real estate, Thanksgiving-wise. And this only takes 2 minutes. Look at that. Piping hot, right into a dish. So good. So nostalgic. I know you think, oh, fancy chef, right? I tell you, it's not a true American Thanksgiving without this type of creamy corn or my dad's peas on the table. It just isn't. Thanksgiving sides in the last 3 minutes. Cranberry. I know some of you are giving me the side eye for this and some of you the criminal side eye. Canned cranberry. I open one side, hard to get out. What? You can get a little hole on the other side to let some air in. Comes right out. Slice, can indentations and all, I love it. You can fan it out to be like VIP fancy. Look at that. Got that bottom of the can indentation on there, come on. All right, so as you can see, we've been cooking our Thanksgiving dinner all day. My social media team gets Thanksgiving in October and you get content. This is that butternut squash that was roasted with the ginger and the cinnamon. I'm just adding a splash of white wine vinegar on top just to like pep it up at the end. This is a mix of honey squash and butternut, just peeled and sliced. Look how pretty. It's kind of cool to do something a little different. Now, if people get upset because there's no marshmallows, drop some marshmallow cream on top of here if you want. No harm, no foul. You can also broil marshmallows on top of this, but it's really pretty, right? And like the honey squash mixed with the butternut. How cool is that? I take my plating actually for Thanksgiving pretty seriously. This is actually an old plate of my dad's and it makes absolutely zero Thanksgiving sense, which I like. I like to get my friends, my family talking like, why did she use this weird plate? And it just kind of looks different, and different is good. Fresh out of the oven. Don't forget, always put a utensil so people aren't left wondering or don't take it with their hands. So this you can kind of serve room tempy, but the mash has got to be piping hot. I put that on the table last. I want it boiling hot. I want hot, hot gravy, hot mash, hot turkey. That's what's up. There's nothing worse than a cold turkey on Thanksgiving, right? Quick tip, I never put a hot pan directly on my counter. I always have a little trivet. And then this is the piping hot mash. You want the mash really hot. I go last minute on the mash. I hate when it's all cold and creepy. Look at this. Remember this mash we made? Right in here. What I love about this basket for the mash is it makes no sense. And that's cause for conversation at the table. Like, why? Why did she do this? Classic mashed potatoes, but we baked them instead. No boiling, no water, no this, that mess. And then this butternut squash and honey nut squash with the warm spices and a little white wine vinegar and olive oil roasted. These are the new side dishes for fall. Give your family group chat something to talk about. And put your mashed potatoes in some strange basket that actually even has holes on the side. Put a lot of spoons. One thing about me is I do not like to make sense. I just want the food to be good. All right, let me walk you through my Thanksgiving spread. Turkey, gravy, my dad's stuffing, the baked mashed potatoes, the peas with the black pepper and the sugar, the squash with the warm spices, the creamed frozen corn, and the cranberry, and my kissing birds. Gotta have a little romance at Thanksgiving.